The 3R Plan. Save the kingdom. The king looked out inside. Our kingdom, once so beautiful, grows barren and dies more and more each day. The queen joined the king at the window. The hills were once filled with trees, wildlife was plentiful, and the air was clean and fresh. Now even our bathing creek is murky and polluted. Our citizens work hard, and yet they seem too tired to enjoy the reward of their labor. Is it what our children have to anticipate in life? It was true. The land was abused and overused, and the people were unhappy and too busy. The king looked at his own beloved wife. Surely we have intelligent people living among us. Someone must know the solution to save our dying planet. The king called for his court magistrate. Tell the people that I will award the royal position of physical land steward to the person who solves the problem of our decaying land. That person will be allowed to live in the castle for the rest of their days. If this problem goes unsolved, hope will fade and our future will be threatened. Away from the castle lived 3 people, Rebecca, Roger, and Randy. Each of 3 people lived happily in their own way. Each person had heard the king's decree, and each one devised a plan that might save the kingdom. Although the land around their own home showed signs of ills, it was healthy and glorious. These 3 people were content and enjoyed their lives. The plans they had for the entire kingdom were based on the way they already lived. Reduce. Big mountains, roaring rivers, and thick forests surround Rebecca's land. Her small home was high on a mountain. Because her home was far away from stars, she had to get by with only the things she needed. Rebecca thought about what she owned and realized she didn't need much at all. If she didn't use an item, she would sell it or give it away. Most importantly, if she didn't like it, she wouldn't own it at all. She didn't buy much, and consequently, Rebecca's home was tidy and efficient. She didn't spend a lot of extra time taking care of things. Reduce your load, increase your joy, and save your environment. That was Rebecca's plan to help save the land. Even if her plan wasn't a cat, she believed the king should know that it's possible to live with less and yet have more. Rebecca's plan meant more for everyone, and with that thought, Rebecca left for the castle. Reuse. Roger's home was in a large open valley. He had many children, and neighbors helped one another regularly. Healthy animals and plants grew all year long. Roger thought, our life and land are wonderful, and I should share this with the king. Roger could be described as creative and frugal. No item entered his home without being reused in many different ways. For example, after finishing a jar of yams, he used the jar to store beans. If the beans were eaten, the jar was used as a vase for flowers. When Roger Berry arrived, he made more jam, cleaned the jar, and refilled it. Roger's goal, out of necessity, was not to waste anything and just find other ways to use things. Roger's families couldn't afford new stuff, but they lived happily reusing things and trading service. They replaced what they took from the land, as they kept the land around them clean. They must compost and use it to fertilize new crops. Roger began a journey to tell the king about his plan. Recycle. Of the 3 people, Randy lived the closest to the castle. They designed ways to take used things and make them into new things. For example, they had a machine that melted cans, poured the melt metal, and shaped it into new cans. They had a simple hand process for remaking paper. People would give them used cans, glass, and paper, and they would make new products from the used materials. Then they sold the new recycled product to people who need the item. They rarely need new things made from natural resources such as trees. They believe that by recycling things that were already made, the citizen wouldn't need to use up the land and other resources, and the land could be saved. Randy went to present the plan to the king. The 3R plan. By this time, the king and queen already had heard many plans. Rebecca, Roger, and Randy were worried by the time they arrived, but they still had hope. Each person, one at a time, presented the plan to the king and queen, and each person agreed that the others also thought each plan had benefits and were willing to try each one. Let's try all three at the same time, said the queen. The one that shows the best result will be kept as a plan to save our kingdom. Things didn't happen overnight, but improvement was soon seen. The forest started to regrow as the water cleaned itself out and ran clearly. The animal became healthier. People enjoy working towards a common goal, although they all were still busy. They talked and laughed more often with one another. Everyone felt more ownership in the plan. The king and queen decided that all three people should live in the castle. They called the plan the 3R plan and invited Randy, Roger, and Rebecca to stay at the castle. None of the people accepted the royal offer. The people already considered themselves stewards of the land and were pleased that the rest of the kingdom did too. With the 3R plans, reduce, reuse, and recycle, the land improved, and all the citizens